Hello, welcome to Crazy Hair Day. Here's my cool hairdo. I used pens are already falling out of my hair. I did not have enough hair clips, so I used a office clip. I don't know if you could see there or not. Oh, there goes another pen. I hope you all are having a great Crazy Hair Day. I want to see all of your Crazy Hair Day styles. So, since today is Crazy Hair Day, I thought we could read a book called Crazy Hair Day. How fitting! This is by Barney Salzberg. That guy is crazy here. And I did this because, if you know Miss O'Brien, whenever you see her at school, she always has at least one pencil in her hair, so I just decided to go all out with pens and pencils today. Stanley Birdbaum woke up early. Bald Eagle Elementary School was celebrating Crazy Hair Day, and Stanley couldn't wait. They had celebrated Pajama Day, Twin Day, and 60s Day. Stanley's favorite day was Twin Day because he and his best friend, Larry Finchfeather, had worn exactly the same thing. Stanley was ready. He had rubber bands, he had styling gel, and to make his hair perfect, Stanley had 2 cans of Halloween hairspray. Stanley's mother knew just what to do. She wrapped, she dipped, and to make his hair perfect, she sprayed Stanley's hair bright orange and blue. Ta-da, said Stanley. I am a work of art. You're going to be late if you don't hurry, said his mother. Stanley rolled the rubber bands in his hair. He gently tapped on the tops of his spikes. This, he said, is going to be a day I will never forget. I bet Larry Finchfeather and I will have the craziest hair in the school, Stanley thought. As he walked toward the classroom, he heard his teacher talking. And remember, Mr. Winger said, Crazy Hair Day is... next Friday! Everybody stopped. Everybody stared. Stanley felt sick. Larry Finchfeather said, Is that a hairdo or is that a hair don't? Everybody laughed. Stanley ran to the bathroom. Poor Stanley, that's horrible. A few minutes later, Stanley heard someone come in. It's me, Larry Finchfeather. The Larry Finchfeather who just made fun of me in front of the whole class? Asked Stanley. I was only teasing, said Larry. Some days you tease me too much, said Stanley. Mr. Winger said he wants me to try to be a peacemaker instead of a troublemaker. I'm supposed to bring you back to class. I'm not going, said Stanley. If you stay in here, you'll miss being in the class picture, said Larry. I thought that was next Friday, said Stanley. Crazy Hair Day is next Friday, Larry said. Today is school picture day. Stanley rolled the rubber bands in his hair. He gently tapped on the tops of his spikes. This, he said, is going to be a day I will never forget. Larry Finchfeather suggested that Stanley try washing his hair in the sink. It won't help, said Stanley. Halloween hair color lasts for days. Well, it really doesn't matter. It's only your hair, Larry told him. If you don't come out of here by the time math is over, I'm coming to get you. You can't stay in here all day. It was very quiet after Larry Finchfeather left, and Stanley wondered if maybe he could spend all day in the bathroom. He ate his lunch. He drew pictures. He even timed himself to see how fast he could flush all the toilets. 32.5 seconds, he shouted. A new world record by me, Stanley Birdbaum. Stanley had counted up to 121. 122. 123 drops of water from a leaky faucet when Larry Finchfeather came back. Oops, sorry. Beep! Time's up. Let's go, Larry announced. Picture time! If I'm in it, I'll look like the class weirdo, said Stanley. Remember 60s Day, said when Mr. Winger had the flu, but it came in anyway, said Larry. He said the day wouldn't have been the same if we weren't all together. You have to come. I'll give you 5 minutes. Larry Finchfeather left, and Stanley Birdbaum thought about 60s Day, when Mr. Winger had taught them all those great old songs. He remembered how on Pajama Day everyone in his class had worn PJs and slippers. Then Stanley imagined what his class picture would look like without him. He decided to go back to class. To keep from being nervous, Stanley made up a song. Crazy hair, how I wish it wasn't there. Stanley felt someone touch his shoulder. I was just coming to get you, said Larry Finchfeather. What if they laugh at me again, asked Stanley. Everything will be fine, Larry whispered. I promise. Stanley stood in front of his class. Everybody stopped. Everybody stared. Stanley rolled the rubber bands in his hair, and he gently tapped the tops of the spikes. This, he said, is going to be a day I will never forget. So sweet. Do you all see what his class did? They all gave themselves silly hair too. How sweet. And then there's Stanley at the end sleeping in his bed. It was a cute story. It was silly. It was heartfelt. I like how they said, Mr. Winger said, it's not the same if we're not all there all together. And I know right now we're not all together in person, but we can be together online. And Miss Clements and I are just so proud of every single person and how hard they're working. So keep up your great job. Have a great crazy hair day.